Welcome students to our e-learning session of 7th standard. See, this is our science textbook. This is a front page which tells us that lessons we are going to learn throughout the year. This year we are going to enjoy microscope. We are going to learn use of microscope means study of microorganisms. It means this year we are going to learn about cell. Understood? What are microorganisms? The living things that we cannot see through our eyes, naked eye, are called as microorganisms. Micro means very small. See the function of parts of plants. Downside it we can see roots which are poured, immersed in water. In second jar we see the level of water gets lowered. This is because roots absorb water. It means parts of plants and their functions. This year we are going to learn about plants. Again fun with magnet, Earth's magnetic field, then measure geographical conditions of the earth, and as a result how we see biodiversity among living things. The, we can see penguins downside and the number of lessons in the heading contents. This year we are going to learn 20 lessons throughout the year. And all these lessons are interesting with biology, physics, chemistry, environmental science and disaster management. Disaster management is must as our India is suffering from corona. Understood? So how to face it and how to overcome from it. It is included in that disaster management. And backside we see the the birds, okay, and the diversity among the birds. Now the first lesson, in the first lesson, before I start, I will explain what we learned last year. Last year, what we learned? We learned how biodiversity, on what basis biodiversity among living things is considered, the criteria on which biodiversity is considered. The first, among the plants, flowering and non-flowering, this criteria is considered. Then length of life cycle means annual, biennial, perennial. It's considered. It means the plants that live only 1 year. It means they complete their life cycle in 1 year. Means they bear flower, then they make the seeds and die. They are called as annual. So the plants which live for many years is called as perennial, while the plants which complete their life cycle in 2 years. In 1 year they bear flower, in second year they form through seeds. Such plants are called as biennial. Then according to the size and height or with the strength of that stem, the plants with strong stem and heighted, they are called as trees. It means trees, shrubs, herbs. These are the plants with different sizes or which show difference in the height. Trees are heighted, shrubs are having only 2 meter height, while the herbs are 1 to 1.5 meter height. But herbs are different than shrubs. The stem of the herbs, we can bend it without breaking. Understood? But for shrubs, the stem is strong. We cannot bend it. While the stems of climbers and creepers are very weak. Understood? So next criteria was habitat and then cellular structure. Habitat means where we observe them. And cellular structure means the plants that are unicellular and the plants that are multicellular. While considering while in animals we consider again Some are same like that plants, like cellular structure. It means animals whose body is made up of only single cell are called as unicellular, and then whose body is made up of many cells that are multicellular. Then habitat also played important role. Terrestrial, aquatic, aerial, and amphibians. Terrestrial means animals that live on the land. Aquatic means animals that live in the water. Aerial means like birds, and amphibians means who spend their early life in water and then they spend their life on the land. Then mode of reproduction, animals who lay eggs, hatches them, and then their young one come out of it, oviparous, and which give directly birth to young one, viviparous. Then protective covering, some animals have feather, for example birds, some have scales, for example fishes, and then some are having hair. We are having hair. Again, some animals are having thick hair on their body, like what we call polar bear, or the animals that found in that ice clad region. Again, on the other criteria in animals were movements and ingestion of food. And because of these criteria, we see variety of plants and animals on the earth. And as a result, diversity is found on the earth. We know that animals depend on other living things for their food. But even then we see difference in them. Okay, why? Same thing. We see plants in every condition. Means in ice clad region, that is snow clad region throughout the year, in desert region also, in water also. Though they are included, though we call them plant, but they differ from one another. Why? This is because they develop some changes in them to live in that condition, geographical conditions. So gradual changes that occur in the body parts of both plants and animals, along with the behavioral changes, which help them to adjust them in their environment, are called as adaptation. Or it's called as adaptation. What is adaptation? Adaptation means gradual changes in their body parts and also in their behavioral change, behavioral behavior of organism. It also gets changed. We will take example of fish. Fish is an animal. Can you consider it live on the water, on the land? No, it cannot survive without water, and it remain alive in water throughout the year, 24 hours a day throughout the year. But what about us? Can we remain alive in water throughout the year or 24 hours a day throughout the year? No, we cannot remain alive. Why? Because there are some differences in the external covering of fishes and our body. Our cell cannot accommodate in that environment, that is aquatic environment. While the same happen with the fishes, their scales or their external covering cannot accommodate in on the land. We are having lungs for breathing, for rest, but fishes are having gills. Gills, presence of gills means they can take oxygen which is dissolved in water. So these are the differences in between we and fishes. So because of this, and these differences occur because of gradual changes in the body parts, and this adaptation takes it is we can see in the body parts of different plants and animals, and it took near more than thousands of years. These changes they occur slowly in the body parts of both plants and animals. Understood? And it took generation, and these changes they were early in the first stage, they were very minute, and then these minute changes slowly, when generations, more and more generations pass on, these changes also pass on from one generation to another with again more change, more change. So It took thousands of years. And then fishes or other animals, they get adapt or they become able to survive in that geographical conditions. So which are the changes? Which modification takes place in their body parts? That we will learn by taking different geographical conditions. First one is adaptations in both plants and animals. But first we will learn about plants. Adaptations in aquatic plants. Students, which plants do we see in water? Yes, lotus, water hyacinth, and hydrilla. But there is a difference. Again, diversity. Lotus, we can see its leaves and flower on the surface because it floats. While hydrilla, it is submerged. We can see in the figure 1.2 aquatic plants that hydrilla is submerged in water, while water hyacinth is floating on the surface, but it is firmly, its roots are spread in the soil. But water hyacinth is different than lotus. With what respect? The leaves. The leaves of water hyacinth are tape-like, ribbon-like. But the leaves of lotus, the leaf of lotus is green in color. Why it is green in color? See the diagram, that lotus leaf. The lotus leaf is broad. This lotus leaf is broad in shape. And if we touch that leaf, it is soapy to touch because it is protected. As the leaf is directly in contact with water, it is protected by waxy covering. Understood? It is broad in size and it is protected by waxy covering from upside also, from downside. If from downside, if we touch that lotus leaf, it is soapy to touch. And this adaptation of leaf help that lotus plant to survive in water. Students, do one activity. After watching this video, just touch the leaves of different plants. You will see the difference. If we touch the leaves, they are not soapy. Soapy means we are familiar with soap. It is very soft, and while taking bath, if we try to hold the soap in our hand, it escapes just easily because of soapiness. It is very smooth and it just moves down, slides off from our hand. Like that, the lower part of the lotus is also soapy to touch, and this soapiness of the lotus leaf help the lotus plant to survive in that aquatic condition. This is first modification, and with this respect, lotus leaf is, it differs from the plants that we found on the land. Now the stem. Just last year also I told you, just give one punch to the mango plant or banyan plant. What will happen? We will feel pain. If we try to break it, we do not break with our hand. But see the stalk of the lotus plant. It is hollow from inside. We can see the cavities. And as it is having cavities, this stalk becomes very light in weight. And as a result, the lotus plant able to float, or that leaves and flowers able to float on the surface of water. Some plants are submerged because they are having fibrous roots, and because of fibrous roots it get anchored in the soil and remain firm submerged in the water. So what are the adaptations acquired by the lotus plants? First one, its stem is hollow. It is having cavities from inside. So stem is light in weight. Number one. Number two, the leaves are having waxy covering. And these plants, the roots of these plants are fibrous and they anchor the plant firmly in the soil. But because as the stem is light in weight, some plants float on the surface, some plants completely float because they are unicellular like algae, and some plants are submerged in the water. So, see the question, use your brain power. Why does water trickle off lotus leaves? Because it is the leaves of the lotus plants have waxy covering. So, water it trickle off from that leaves. Why don't these plants rot in water? Why don't? Because the leaves of these plants are protected by waxy covering. They are soapy to touch. Hence, this waxy covering prevent the plant or leaf from the rotting. Why are their roots short and fibrous? So, to anchor the plant firmly in the soil. Now, we will see adaptation in desert plant. Desert plants are different than lotus. Desert plants, their geographical condition, they always get exposed to the scorchy sun for longer period of time. Again, there is a scarcity of water. Hence, these plants their leaves are very small in size. And these leaves then turns to thorns. Thorns means cutting. To prevent loss of water through evaporation. Understood? The leaves of the plants have minute opening called as stomata through which water is lost in the environment. So to prevent this loss of water, these plants the leaves of these plants turns to thorns. This is the first adaptation. Again, it have protective covering, that is waxy cuticle on the plant. The surface of the plant is thick because of cuticle. So when wind blows, when the strong wind blows, they carry sand particles. So these waxy cuticle protect the plant from getting injured. And third one, these roots of these plants, they penetrate into the soil and absorb water. Understood? And stem of these plants are green in color. This stem perform photosynthesis for the plant. So these are the adaptation which is acquired by desert plant. This is the seed. We can see the thorns of cactus plant. Understood? These thorns are leaves, and these leaves, I already told you, they turns to thorns to prevent loss of water through evaporation. Okay. Now we will see the aquatic plants. Some are submerged in water, and lotus plants. The plants like lotus floats on the surface of water. See the lotus, its broad leaves. The lower surface of the leaf, it's directly in contact with water, but even then it is protected by the effect of water. This is because of waxy covering. Now we will see the plants that are in polar region. These plants differ from other plants. They are not having branches, or if they are having branches, these branches are in conical shape. They are slopy. Why? When the snow falls on them, it does not accumulate there. It floats it falls on the ground. This is because the branches are slopy and the leaves are not broad. The leaves are pointed. Because the leaves are pointed, snow does not accumulate there. Which are the examples? The examples are pine, deodar tree. They are having slopy branches. Now, the famous example is Christmas tree. And then see the adaptation in plants of forest region. These plants, they grow in forest. And as they grow in forest, and they are large in number, so they compete with one another to get sunlight. So as a result, we see tall trees, tall climbers, tall vines in that forest region. While adaptations acquired by the plants in grass or grassland plants, in equatorial region, the grasses are very tall. So we see, as the grasses are very tall, we see herbivorous animals like elephant, deer, because they easily hide in that tall grasses. As their numbers are large, we see carnivorous animals also in large number, like tiger, lion, and wolf, and other animals. But in grasslands of polar region, the height of the grasses are very small. Understood? So we cannot see there rabbits and other and or these herbivorous animals like elephant. What about what adaptation do we see in yam and potato? Though these are underground, their stems, roots are the stems are underground. The potato, but see the potato plants, we see it is underground, but it yam is also underground. But its stem, it grows above the ground and perform photosynthesis. When it undergoes photosynthesis, carbohydrates are produced which get stored in underground part. That's why potatoes are thick and swollen, and same thing happen with yam, and also it survives in odd condition. Now adaptation in ingestion, for ingestion of food in plants. See the now here we can see the plants yellowish in color which grow on other green color plant. That thread like structure is nothing but a plant, that is a cuscuta. Cuscuta is not having chlorophyll, so it takes its nutrition. It grows on other plants and suck the food from other plant. And downside we see Venus flytrap. This, though it is green in color, but it grows on the land which do not have nitrogen in that soil, phosphorus, potassium. So in order to fulfill its requirement, it traps insect and takes its nutrition. Okay students, thank you. We will meet in next session.